I'm sure you've heard of Honduras, but not many people think about it as a vacation destination. Roatan Honduras is one of my favorite places to visit on any Western Caribbean cruise itinerary, and I would like to show you why. We've been to Roatan Honduras before, and it quickly became one of our favorite places to visit. The people here are so friendly and welcoming. Roatan is so much different than the mainland Honduras. Even the locals here say they don't like visiting the mainland. The island of Roatan is located off the coast of mainland Honduras and is home to around 110,000 people. If you're sailing here on a cruise, then you will dock at one of their two cruise ports, either Mahogany Bay or Coxswain Hole. If you're sailing on Carnival or Princess, you will typically port at Mahogany Bay. For those sailing on Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Virgin Voyages, Celebrity, MSC, or Disney, you will typically port at Coxswain Hole. Coxswain Hole is the capital of the Bay Islands and is also their largest city. And just a little fun fact, it's named after Captain John Coxswain, a famous 17th century British pirate. We sailed in on Princess for this visit, so we ported at Mahogany Bay. This port is the newest and largest of the two cruise ports. When you first get off the ship, you will follow the pier and go through the duty-free shop. When you exit the shop, just follow the path up to the shopping center area. There's a lot of things to do here, from shopping, entertainment, food, and you could even catch a chairlift over to Mahogany Beach. You could do all this without even leaving the cruise port. If you booked a shore excursion through the cruise line, then you'll just follow the path into the shopping area and look for the signs with your excursion information on them. There will be workers there if you need help finding your correct group. If you booked an excursion through a third party, like we did, well, you'll have to walk a little bit further to find your group. We booked through a third party because Princess didn't offer the excursion that we wanted. The company that you book through should send you the information on how to find them. It's definitely further to get there, but it's really not that bad overall. I would say it's probably a 10 to 15 minute walk from the shopping area. There are taxis waiting at the end and they'll take you over the hill to the meeting area, but it's really not that far once you get started. If you find walking strenuous or you just can't make that type of journey up the hill, consider booking through the cruise line, or if you do book a third party and need a ride, make sure that you get a price from the taxi driver before you take the ride. Once you get over the hill, you will see a large group of people with signs. Just find your excursion and check in. If you have trouble finding your group, just ask someone. They're all friendly and they will be glad to assist you. We booked an excursion through Shore Excursions Group. We opted for a smaller group so it would feel more like a private tour group would feel. Our driver's name was Steven and he did a fantastic job. And if you're watching, Steven, great job, man. We really enjoyed our day touring with you. It ended up being just my family and one other lady on our tour, so it did have that more private tour feel like we wanted. We chose the monkey, sloth, and iguana tour. We've been to Honduras before and had the opportunity to see the monkeys and sloths, and it was so memorable that we had to do it again. We decided to try a couple new places this time. The first stop was to the iguana farm called Arches Iguana Reserve. Now, just to clarify, these animals are not captives in any of the places that we went. They are a breeding and rehab facility. They may be caged temporarily, but it's not a permanent place. The iguanas are hatched, and when they get large enough, they get to roam free. The Iguana Reserve was neat. They had several parrots that spoke Spanish, some large fish, and of course, iguanas. The tour guide took us around the reserve and told us about how they care for the iguanas. He showed us an area where the female iguanas were digging holes to bury their eggs. He said they collect the eggs to keep them safe from predators and then hatch them. Once the iguanas are large enough to defend themselves, they're let out and they get to roam free. Evidently, they don't like to travel very far from home. I have never seen so many iguanas in one place, and this was just a fraction of what was around there. My opinion of the interaction with the iguanas differed drastically from my wife and daughter. I had a great time feeding them and getting up close. My wife and daughter, well, not so much. They were ready to go see the monkeys pretty quick after we got there. Our next stop was to Manawakiee Park. This is where the monkeys and sloths are. We were lucky and were the only ones here at that time, so we had the opportunity to spend a little more time with the animals. The parrot I held, it wasn't near as friendly as the other place. I don't know if my fingers just look good or what, but he bit me. One of my favorite things here was the monkeys. These guys are so much fun and playful. They're just curious about everything.
He wants to know what that is. It looks tasty.
They keep trying to get my mic.
Hi.
Oh,
There.
it's so. Come on back now.
Evidently, when they get excited, they like to bounce on your head. My wife and daughter's favorite thing is holding the sloths. This guy's name was Flash. Isn't it obvious? If you're wanting to see the monkeys and sloths, I would recommend Manawakiee Park. The workers here were great, and the tour guide did an excellent job. He gave us information about their culture, history, and explained how they care for the animals. If you want an immersive experience, then book an excursion to Manawakiee Park. One thing about having a small group is that sometimes they will let you customize the tour. We didn't care anything about going to the beach on this trip, so we wanted to go somewhere that the locals like to visit. You get a true feeling of the culture when you visit places locals like. Stephen heard us talking about craft beer and recommended a local brewery that he and the other locals like to visit. Of course, I love trying new beer, especially in other countries. This brewery that we visited was called Roatan Island Brewing. They had some wonderful beer on tap and some great food. We got a flight so we could sample several different styles. If you don't like beer, they even had some cocktails and non-alcoholic drinks as well. This was such a fantastic place out in the middle of the jungle. It was an open-air brewery with tables under the mango trees. You can't get much more of a cultural experience than this. We really enjoyed our time there talking with the owner and his staff. They are a great group of people, and yes, they all speak great English, so you don't have an excuse to go visit now. If you're ever in Roatan, put this place on your list of must-visit places. This is just a little chocolate store that we were at, a little side market that we asked to stop at, and we picked up some coffee and tried some chocolate. Now we're going to head back to the port. I would recommend allowing enough time to explore the port area. This port is huge and has a lot to offer. Don't worry though, the driver will drop you back off at the port area. You don't have to walk all the way back down. The third-party excursion people aren't allowed to stage in the area to wait for the guests, but they can bring you back and drop you off close to the port. Roatan Honduras has a lot to offer and should be on everyone's list of must-visit places. From snorkeling, rum factories, horseback riding, zip lining, island tours, and so much more, there is something here for the entire family. Don't skip out on this place. It's safe and friendly. If you're feeling uneasy, just book a large group excursion from your cruise company. If you feel more adventurous, I would highly recommend a private tour or a small group tour. It's easier to customize and feels more personal. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the next adventure.